Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be doing a mark making session, basically just spreading paint out and making marks and having lots of fun. This page was inspired by the amazing Jen Hall, who's an Australian artist I think she lives in Newcastle. She goes by Painty Hands and has been doing, during lockdown, free classes on the internet, on Facebook, using all sorts of things. And this is based on one of the classes she taught on mark making. So I will put her details in the description box below, and I highly encourage you to go around and go and visit her site and see all the amazing things that she's been doing. The reason I did this night is because I was feeling a bit miserable and with everything that was going on, and I just needed to keep myself busy. There was an awful lot of news happening and stuff happening, and I just needed to lock myself away in my studio and just make, which is why this piece sort of goes through quite a bit of transition, because I just kept adding and adding and adding. I wasn't really editing myself when I was doing this. I was just grabbing paint and adding, which, you know, sometimes you do that. And the good thing about your art journal page is it gives you the freedom to do that. And if it looks like a mess, well, so be it, because you can cover it over, you can paint over it, you can do whatever over the top of it. If it makes you happy while you're doing it, it's served its purpose. So I see pages like this, I suppose, more as just practicing and keeping me busy rather than me necessarily learning anything out of it. I did learn out of it. For example, I learned that putting fuchsia on that page wasn't a great idea, because it just looked like brown down the middle of the page and looked very unattractive. It ends up looking okay at the end, but you know, it all works out in the end. So I'm adding some washi tape to add some contrast. Again, this is something that Jen did during the process. If it was me, it would be something I would usually do at the end, but I actually really liked adding it in the middle of the process, because you could then put paint over the top and blend it into the background, so it wasn't as harsh as it is right near it, and it gives you the texture in the background too. So yeah, just playing up. So you can see here that obviously I didn't have enough paint on this page, so I'm adding more, and I'm adding darker colors. Again, I probably should have left it with the brighter colors on it, but I was probably feeling in a bit of a dark mood and needed some darker colors on this, to be honest. So I'm just using my finger to apply the paint. At the very beginning, you see I've just got a piece of cardboard there to scrape it on. If you had a gift card or something like that, you could use that to scrape it on. Anything that you've got to help you apply paint is fine. Because I put so much darkness on this page, I wanted to lighten it up again. Now, one of the motifs that Jen uses a lot in her artwork is this sort of scallopy shape. And she does a lot of mark making as well. I really love that shape, and it was interesting when she sort of explained why she does it. She is a scrapbooker as well, so she sort of does these as mixed media pages and then puts her photo on and her titles on and so on. So she uses that sort of shape with a flat top, so she can put a photo on it or a title against it. So it gives the photo or the title a grounding place, somewhere to sit on. For me, on an art journaling page, that sort of just seems to float in midair. But it was a really great tool to break up that background and to break up that darkness. So you can see that fuchsia that I had that was really bothering me has sort of disappeared. So even though it was now bothering me, I had this shape floating kind of in the middle of the page. You can see I keep extending it out so it touches both edges, so it's a little bit more grounded. It serves its purpose. So one of the things when you're doing this, and you've heard me talk about this a lot before, is when you're working with acrylic paints, it's really important, if you're doing layers of acrylic paint, that you need to heat them to make them permanent. So obviously having that yellow over the top of the turquoise if I hadn't made sure that the turquoise was completely dry, I would have a lovely shade of green there. By making sure it's dry, that's now permanent, and I can layer over the yellow, and the yellow will stay yellow. It's still slightly translucent, but it certainly stands out a lot more than it would have if I had put it wet on wet. So now I'm just going in over the top and trying to add some brightness back onto the page again. So using sort of those yellows and turquoises and pinks, those very bright primary colours over the top, just to add some definition, I suppose, and pops of colour back on the page. I'm also going in and adding some line work to the that figure in the centre, or shape in the centre, sorry, and adding extra lines to the other little marks that I've made on the page. And again, you know, all of this page for me is very, very overworked. I'm not very good with white space anyway, but this page was crying out for somewhere for your eye to rest on. I just kept adding colour and adding colour and adding layers, and it was getting really, really busy. Now, for those people who follow this channel, you know I love busy. You know I love busy backgrounds, but I was fighting against myself doing this, and I think it was because of the headspace I was in. I just wanted to paint. I just wanted to put colour down the page. So everything that I wanted to do was going to happen on this page. Come hell or high water, it was just all going to go on here. So you can see, obviously I didn't have enough mark making on, so I'm putting some more on. So please take this as a cautionary tale. Have a look at this page and think, I would have stopped about 10 layers ago, so that's where I'm going to stop. Obviously, if you get to this stage and think there's too much on here, you can always stencil white over or add white to this to sort of bring it back again, or calm it down a little bit. In this case, I'm actually using black, and again, this is something that Jen does. She adds in black. She uses black paint. I actually use black drawing ink over the top. It's because the Dina Wakley paints are a matte finish, the ink actually dries with a slightly glossy finish, so it does give you another dimension on the page. And as strange as it seems, because again I'm adding more mark making over the top, but by adding it in black, it actually pushes everything to the background and reduces the chaos slightly. It still looks very chaotic, but it's kind of controlling the shapes a little bit more and pushing what needs to go to the background back a little bit further. It is really important if you are using drawing ink over the top and you are going to add some more, because why would I be finished right now, to dry off your layers as you go, particularly with the drawing ink. I knew that I was going to add some white over the top, so I wanted to make sure I could add the white over without it ruining anything else. So the final thing I did on the page was add that quote, "Art is an escape from reality," because for this night, for me, it certainly was. While it was completely overworked, it was taking my mind off what was actually happening that night. And I needed to keep creating, so that's what I did. So please go and check out Jen's tutorial with her amazing artwork, and then you can compare it to my very, very overworked comparison. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.